what we have seen also with e-residence today, is that you don't need to stay there where you were born, and you don't need to, you can be everywhere. You can work remotely, and studies show that there will be hundreds of millions of people working remotely in next coming years. And every year more hundreds of millions joining that community. Because of the automation and AI, this will further be transformed, and meaning that kind of you can be detached from your nation if your nations allow that. And there where we ended up as E-Residency 3 years ago. We are building a new borderless nation state for global citizens. Every person on the planet can join and become our digital citizen. It costs €100, it's a bit hassle to become one. 1 month waiting time, face-to-face meeting, you give fingerprints to the Estonian embassy. But then you're a digital citizen of Estonia. And you're part of this. This is the decentralized data exchange of Estonia and how Estonia is built throughout the last 17 years. All of the transactions is blockchained, all the hashes of that transactions are blockchain, and it's decentralized, and each node can only have that data once. No other node or database can have the same data again. So if you need that data, you need to ask that from the existing data. For example, if I declare taxes, I'll enter into one node, I will give allowance to the tax office to access my data about my salary, about my property, about my children, about my pension funds. It calculates everything together, and I just need to accept that my taxes are declared. And this is how the function, all this infrastructure works for the last 17 years, and it's pretty scalable. And hence here now internationally everyone can be part of through e-residency, and part of those hundreds and thousands of services which after that have been generated, from voting online to healthcare records, everything online. I can give allowance to my pharmacist to access that, to give me prescription, etc. And it was powerful for Estonians, and for us it's kind of part of our lives. I can't remember any other life. But borderless nation now makes this extra powerful. Now every person who can become a digital citizen can be part of that. And instead of just being inefficient, this is now transformed to business and business opportunity for nations.
Our new digital world knows no borders, and great business ideas are no longer limited by where you work or live. E-Estonia is a digital nation for global citizens, for those who've thrown off the shackles of national boundaries. Literally anyone in the world can apply. E-Residency is legitimate and transparent. A government-issued digital identity that gives you the freedom to run a global EU company online from anywhere in the world. Establish a company within a day. Access business banking. Use international payment providers. Digitally sign documents and contracts, and declare Estonian taxes online. We're Estonia. Tech is our expertise. And through e-residency, we are empowering entrepreneurs everywhere. No matter where you were born, no matter what passport you carry, you can apply. Use e-residency to run your business from anywhere in the world. Unleash your entrepreneurial potential, because no business should be bound by physical borders. Apply for e-residency today and join our new digital nation. e-resident.gov.ee.
Thank you. So since launch, it's been quite a tremendous journey. At first you had to travel 4 times to Estonia to put this business package together. We had some crazy people actually do that. Now we don't have to travel anytime, so it's fully remotely possible. We have month-over-month growth. There are more e-residents joined now weekly than Estonians born in Estonia. And month-by-month growth, just do your mathematics where it can lead to. On Friday, Deloitte Research came up with some numbers. Our GDP annually in Estonia is 22 billion. So especially those small nations like Estonia, becoming borderless also becomes quite a good business to do, because within next those years we can see valuation of over 1.8 billion, which it further generates the Estonian market. Which is obvious, because if you're borderless, then there are endless opportunities of your customers, not only your citizens. So I'm not doing it personally for money, of course. It's great if Estonians benefit, because they kind of need to see the value also here to further invest on the program. But we'll do it because it really helps people. And I'll show you the last video, which is also 1 minute video, about some of the use cases, how people benefit from that.
While some countries push people away, Estonia pulls them in. What kind of problems can e-residency solve for an entrepreneur? Say you're a freelance writer in Ukraine, and you need to receive international payments. E-residency enables it. Or maybe you run a startup in India and need access to cross-border capital to help scale internationally. E-residency allows it. What if you're a digital nomad or expat and want to run your company after you move to a different country? E-residency is the answer. You might be outside the EU, but want a trusted company registered inside the world's largest single market. E-residency can make it happen. Or if you're already an EU citizen, but you want to lower the cost and hassle of administrating your company, e-residency makes that possible. Maybe you have multiple board members all over the world. E-residency means board decisions and contracts can be legally approved online instantly. Whatever your nationality, whatever your situation, applying for e-residency is the best way to run a global EU company fully online with minimal cost and hassle. Apply for e-residency today and join our new digital nation. e-resident.gov.ee.
So, and it really feels good. Like we literally see every day hundreds of people now who join, who can't do business today globally. They can't have access to PayPal, banking. They can't sell their services globally everywhere. This is literally most of the world people. 70% of people today are unbanked. And now, through some magic plastic, which they hold, and they enter the computer, they have access to same rights and opportunities as everyone we have here. And that's why we see that as our great thing to do to the world, to give something back. But of course, you can imagine it doesn't end there. This is just first product for us. It was like lowest hanging fruit. We already had the ecosystem of business, we managed to open that and offer that to everyone. Now, I'm personally looking at other domains. One domain, of course, are crypto tokens. We do believe that crypto tokens will be a great alternative source of funding for startups and growth companies. And although most of the ICO's money you invest today, you will lose, but hopefully we managed to regulate that, and regulations here are good things in normal way and little hassle way, so that you would have a higher level of confidence on investing through tokens and raise funds through ICOs. And I'm publishing a blog post next week then, so follow us at Medium. Regarding Estonian legislation and business and KYC and banking and taxation, etc. environment, how to launch your initial coin offerings in Estonia. After that, I published a blog post that Estonia as a nation would issue its own crypto tokens called Estcoins through initial coin offerings. And this is the very same reason to do that is to actually foreign companies do. So of course, tokens have many functions, whether it's utility tokens or security tokens or cryptocurrencies. And the same way, nations can have many functions. Today, if you really love Estonia, and there are many really fans of Estonia, just love about the society and technology, and they'll come to me and say that, how can I be part of that? Yeah, I'm already a resident, but I don't want to do company in Estonia, you know. What else can I do? How could I be part of that? And a very good way how you can be part of something is through tokens. Like, you're part of that community, you want to contribute your knowledge, your network there, and you want to grow together with that community. And the same way, you could one day then buy Estcoins and be part of Estonia. Literally, you want Estonia to succeed. You want to build your companies here, hence generates further revenue. The further revenue generated, the crypto token prices go up, and you earn. And tokens can then be used to motivate you to generate more content about e-residency, to help other e-residents. You could use the Estcoins to pay your state fees here, and everything else. So I do believe nations can monetize this and use this the same way as private companies can. But it's a bit longer journey, of course, 3-4 years, before we can actually do the initial coin offering. But this is what I'm working on. So where it all leads to, of course, is that nations will be transformed something to, I don't like to say something to Facebook groups, but it's easier to imagine that. Service providers where you can opt in and opt out according to your values, your needs. There are already other nations launching e-residencies. Azerbaijan already copy-pasted our website of e-residency. And we do help other nations also, of course, because the more digital citizenship you have in your pocket, the more value you generate to everyone. I believe that after 7 years, I'm e-resident of 10 different countries already, and I can choose different services from their countries. Some countries I'm using for healthcare, others I'm using for business, third I'm using for investments. Maybe one day even physical protection comes from some group. And those countries don't need to be countries, they can be city e-residences. There can be various communities where you're part of, where you want to subscribe to and contribute your knowledge and network there. And I do believe that this makes nations a better place. Like, this monopoly situation won't be there anymore. Because, let's be honest, nations don't need to take care of you today. You will stay there. What else you have to do? Like, they can offer you bad service, they can have queues. Like, who cares? You will still need your passport, you still need to get driving license in that queue. But this will change. Like, if Estonia offers you driving license which are faster, one click online, you won't apply at home country anymore. And service by service, it will be disrupted. And nation by nation, each nation finding their kind of own products. Because you can't be best at all the products and services, like startups can't be best in offering all, at least today. The same way nations will find what they are best at and offering that to everyone. And then scaling up, because you don't need to monetize everything. You scale up with one service. And that's enough for you, you can outsource everything else. And that's pretty interesting. And this is what we try to do in the Estonian government with my team, imagining that life which is not after 200 years, which is after 10 years. And after 10 years, if we meet to ask what nation in the world serves those 1 billion global citizens, what services will you use from your own country if you're a digital citizen of 10 other nations? What will be the source of income for the country if cryptocurrencies are eating up all the taxation? Today, your e-residents are paying salaries through bitcoins, for example. Governments are losing all the money. Like, what is the source of income for nations if taxation is not the revenue model anymore? Can we have subscription-based e-residences? Can we have government as a service platforms for other governments? There are endless opportunities for revenue models for governments, like startups have. Startups have many business models. Governments can have the same way, and they need to have. What happens with countries who go to scaling modes, say 1,000% GDP growth per year instead of 4%? There are no limits of scaling if the end market is 7 billion. And what happens to those countries who can't find role in that new world, who can't have products to offer? Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kaspar Korjus.
And I didn't believe actually I'm going to do that at the beginning. I knew that it's a great idea, but you know, I have my personal life also, and it's pretty difficult to do it. But after, you know, you wake up and you can read the Bank of England and Bank of the EU, different institutions and nations, saying it's something you can't do, then it's like pretty motivating to actually do it. So that's why I want to do it now, actually, because literally I do believe it's very doable. Like, it's literally doable, and it really can enhance nations in a way we can't imagine. Raise your hand if there would be Estcoins and you would buy at least Estcoin worth 1,000 euros. Like, there is market validation everywhere, literally.
But isn't this, to play devil's advocate, isn't this going back to nation-state currencies again? Didn't we just agree with the euro, that was a great thing?
We like euros. We don't, like, I don't see any way that today, like, the crypto tokens' best value would be currency. I would say utility tokens and assets, securities, much better use of. So I will think euro will stay there as long as it's strong, and we don't need to replace. But there can be alternative ways of payment methods for some communities, of course. Because if I'm giving Estcoins to you because you publish a great post about E-Residency, then you can use that Estcoin only inside that community to establish a company, pay state fees, pay for E-Residency companies. So, and this token then adds value to our network, and hence
you saying it's going to be used for fake news? You just talked about someone making a comment and getting paid for it.
That's the plan.
That's all right. This gentleman down here, sorry, sir.
Hi Kaspar, how are you? That was a very good presentation, thank you. My name is Graham DeBarra and I'm a CEO of a blockchain incubator from Ireland.
Oh.
And I came into the blockchain space a few years ago because my country, along with Greece and some other countries, had the largest deficit from the financial crisis back in 2007. Your announcement to launch an Estcoin type product is very interesting for smaller nation countries like my own of 4.5 million people. I believe there are other people within the European Parliament, such as Eva Kaili from Greece and some other individuals. How will you mobilize smaller nations and people interested within the European Parliament? Because currently we all operate kind of in silos. Will you be interested in developing such other coins like in other countries once you're finished with the project here in Estonia?
Thanks for that question. Yes, it's difficult to say what I want to do after that. It takes time, and most probably, as I promised myself, that I will just do one more year at E-Residency and then I will do my own thing, and then only one more year and then I will do. But this grows so massively, so I can't see me quitting this position any near time soon. But the point is good that Estonia, it's difficult to think, but Estonia would win a lot if Singapore, Luxembourg, Cyprus, you name it, will come up with their e-residences. And if Estonian e-resident will use, instead of incorporate Estonia, would incorporate Singapore, Estonia would still win. Because the more nodes on the network, the more value is created. And eventually Singapore generates their own e-residents, Malaysia their own e-residents, and they're all part of the same community with their digital identities. And hence we can start selling our services more to the bigger amount of people. So the same way with blockchain and ICOs, the more nations will join this, I believe it generates further funds and eventually Estonia could win also. So the big picture is that we want to help. The good point is that it's too early to go to the European Parliament. Like with e-residency also, like we didn't go to, like, I don't know, cabinet or parliament to ask a lot of money, like we have a great idea. Like, it's difficult with the new things with that kind of crowd. What we do is we validate the problem, solution, market, and business models. So that there are problems for doing business, there is solution what we can offer, there is value for us, it generates revenue with the Deloitte research, and there is market and we can scale. You know. Once you prove each stage, you can go to next stage. So I think with ICOs and nation ICOs and national crypto tokens, it's the same. Like, what I'll do is just I will try to launch it, I will prove it, and then I can go back to the EU level to show that let's do it nationwide.
So do you think that we have to have very strong implementation from the government side? The governments have to really want that individually first.
Yeah, but I don't believe that we can do anything under EU umbrella nowadays. Like, the EU doesn't function so well, like we know. Like, there are literally one nation against that and it falls apart. So with that massive projects we can't do on the EU level. There needs to be some kind of communities of different nations who will do it together.
Okay. Is there an analogy there to like a large company, let's say you're a massive international company, and if you want to create innovation, you might just break off a department and let them run on their own?
Yeah, like and corporations too, they do their own accelerator programs and own stuff, and they're independent, and sometimes it succeeds, of course. And then once a corporation tries to go in, then they fall apart. But until then, they succeed.
Dude, you love the EU. This is obvious.
I love it. It's one of the best values for E-Residency to the east part of the EU. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Anybody else before we head off? All right, yes, sir, down the front.
So I have a question for you. I'm a fairly new resident in Estonia, so what are the risks you think are the biggest for this e-residency program?
Yeah, thank you. We have like I have a risk manager in my team, Victoria Sauer, who has like 300 plus risks and one Excel. They all have priorities and actions behind them. 3 big risks realized this year, by the way, out of like top 7 or something. There were banking regulation changes, e-residents couldn't get bank accounts. Once we had to close all e-resident certificates, so the cards didn't work and we had to update, renew them digitally, and some more things. So they realize all the time. But still, like, what I would reflect now is that the biggest risk is still not doing that. Like, I don't believe nations will survive like that without like dramatically disrupting itself. Like the population aging alone would make us poor. Like we can't like foresee that like if one person needs to feed 3 persons with that small salary, like it just won't happen. Like, and we know how many babies are born today. We can see that this is happening. So already this will disrupt them, like nations. So we need to disrupt them, and once the good thing is, if you're early disruptor, then at least you gain the first mover advantage, and maybe you can win something else. Thank you.
All right, very good. Please, one more round of applause for Kaspar Korjus. Very interesting to hear it direct. Thank you, sir.